EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week discussing the episodes broadcast between the 25th and the 28th of September 2023. Hello there, I hope you're well this week. I'm fine, thanks for asking. Joining me as usual is the delightful Ree. Hello this week, Ree, how are you this week?
I'm
how
good,
are you
thank
this week?
you. How are you, Rob? How's your wisdom tooth getting on?
Oh, thank you. Yes, all very good. I haven't had any more eruptions this week, so all is well. I think. Thank you for all your messages of concern. Honestly, they came through the amount of messages. It was, I could almost see you all laying flowers outside my house through concern for my tooth this week. It was lovely. But no, all is well. Thank you. How about you? What have you been up to this week?
Not much. Holy daughter, but actually, let me tell you something, Rob.
Yes.
On my way here, because obviously I'm at my parents' house right now recording,
Yep.
and I have to drive over. And on my drive over, right, I'm driving, at the speed limit, and somebody overtook me on a hill.
Oh, bad.
Yeah,
Not
on a
hill.
So I beeped it. No, actually, it was really aggressive as well. Like, it was pretty bad. So I beeped him, as you do, to say, "Oi, now then," drove off. Gets to the bottom of the hill, stuck in traffic anyway.
How far did you get?
How far?
That's my favourite
what
thing.
point?
My favourite thing to say to drivers. How far did you get overtaking me like that?
And some swear words ordinarily.
Oh,
yeah,
but not
ordinarily.
Now you're a mother. Yes, not.
I had my daughter in the back, so I stopped myself, Rob. You'd be very proud.
Yeah.
I went to go, and I went, Mummy's feeling a little bit angry right now, Amira.
Mummy wants to kill that man in front of us.
And then I'm going to breathe out. And that's how we're going to handle this little bit of rage that Mummy's got. I think he thought I was talking to him. He started squirting water at my car.
What do you mean he started squirting water at your car? What, you just got out and started squirting at you with a water pistol?
No. God, I think the swear word thing would go out the window if he did that.
Yeah, probably.
No, you know where your windscreen wiper is ordinarily on back?
Yeah.
Well, his was missing. So it just sprayed water out at me instead. At my car.
I didn't know you could do that. That
well,
sounds
I didn't
fun.
Until today.
I might remove mine and then just I can squirt out it like people like I'm in Mario Kart. Just squirt people as I'm driving past. That sounds fun.
But you know what, Rob? No, because you look like the worst person in that scenario. At that point, I went, do you know what, pal? If you've got a problem, you go ahead, love, because I'm not getting involved anymore.
This is how Mummy takes the moral high ground. That's right.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know me, Rob. What I do.
Yes, I do. That man is lucky that you've had a daughter. That's all I can say. Right, there we are then. So that was our week. Elsewhere, we had another good week of Walford. Although there's something very odd going on with no one else would care about this apart from me, who always studies the writers' credits. All right. So very odd was going on this week. Kevin Rundle wrote the entire week. Effectively, that never happens. He shared credit with two people at the start of the week and then wrote the other two episodes on his own. Never happens. The geek in me really wants to know what went on there. I'm dying to know.
That's suspicious.
Anyway, so let's discuss this week's EastEnders on Albert Square After Dark. So off we go this week, and we'll start with the Beals and the Knights. Cindy and Ian have continued to pursue the Panesars for money for their business, which we discover this week is going to be a pie and mash shop. Now, my first thought about this business, Ree, is that surely the Chippy will be selling pies anyway. And pie and chips are a thing. So I don't know what... Do you know what I mean? It seemed like an odd venture choice. I know we're talking about it being in London and, that's potentially something that a lot of Londoners would eat, but it seems like an odd choice. And what I would say is that some spoiler pictures have been revealed. Not really spoiler pictures, but the Christmas lights are up at the moment. They are starting to film December. Ooh, they will be the Six will be discovering the clues to the mystery very, very soon. It's very exciting. But there has been a business built right next door to Coker and Sons, which is called Beals Eels or something like that, which seems like a terrible name for this shop. Beals Eels. It's a terrible idea.
Well, he made a joke for it, didn't he? Week and said jellied beals. I thought that were a good name. Though.
That was a better name than the one they've gone with, I think. But it's jellied eels. I've never thought of anything more disgusting. Have you ever had eels?
I didn't even know that eels were a thing, to be honest, in London.
Jellied eels?
Oh, no, I did. No, I did, actually, because didn't Gordon Ramsay go looking for some in Thames once on some show or something?
Yes. But that's the thing in London. Jellied eels. I cannot think of anything worse
I mean, it's business-wise, like you've just said, surely sells pies at Chippy, right?
Yeah.
And pie and chips. Is he not in competition with himself then?
You'd think. What I think would be a good idea is that they need to bring back Beals on Wheels, which was a van that he had at one point. And you could use that as a delivery service for all his different food outlets. You can just order sort of Beals Food Empire and you can just have that delivered to your house. That would work.
It would, but then you've got Uber Eats and Deliveroo and all the other takeaway services that are available.
They don't exist in Walker, I suspect. I don't think.
But yeah, no, there are a lot of flaws with this business idea. I must admit myself. Yeah,
I don't know whether we're still going to be talking about the pie shop in about 10 years, whether it's going to be up there with some of the most well-remembered businesses that have ever struck Walford. But you never know. You never know. So Peter is kind of concerned because obviously, unbeknownst to Cindy and Ian, there was a thing that had happened between Peter and Suki. Still to this day, one of the funniest things that ever happened, in my view. I remember that well, when Suki turned around to Peter and said, "Do you want to see how well I use my mouth?"
Oh, yeah, that line.
Filth. Loved it. That was brilliant. But Cindy discovers this week as Peter's kind of forced to tell her. And so another moment this week, by the way, of Vinny being sort of like a quivering little flower after he's got all hard over Peter. No, so to speak. He goes, didn't quite mean that, but we'll move on from that. Yes. Didn't mean that. No, because Vinny's kind of all up in his face, go, "Oh, you can try and beg money off my family." And once Cindy finds out about this, she kind of corners Vinny in the kitchen, and he's instantly sort of like, "I'm sorry, whatever you say, Cindy, I'm sorry." It's funny. He's the worst, isn't he?
But would he be that scared of her? It didn't make that much sense.
Vinny would. Vinny would. Oh, Vinny would. Of course he would. Of course he would. Powerful. Yeah. No, I totally bought that.
Yeah, but then I'd just be like, "Have you met my mum? Have you met my mum, though, Cindy?"
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I also think that Vinny doesn't want his dad to know what went on, because I think that he's desperate, because he's always been desperate to keep Suki and Nish together, hasn't he? So it was an empty threat that he gave to Peter anyway. When Cindy retaliated, he instantly sort of backed down like the little wimp that he is. Made me laugh. So this all seems to be going quite well. Nish seems to be convinced, despite the fact that there was no vegetarian option. Which, according to Ian, if you're a vegetarian, it's for woke people. Which was so Ian to come out with stuff like that. You just know that Ian is the sort that would probably sit at home watching GB News and voting Conservative of every single election, and giving it all that, going on about woke people all the time. It's funny. So it's all going quite well. Nish seems to be semi-convinced, and they go to the Vic and have a celebration drink until they discover that that Nugget is missing, and Cindy and Ian are basically far too insensitive about this. And they say, "Well, you can deal with that later after you sign our contract. Yeah, after you sign our contract, can you stop worrying about that, please, and sign our contract." And Nish sort of explodes, and then it all kind of just goes wrong from there. Now, can you see? I mean, Nish wasn't. I know Nish wasn't particularly nice about Cindy at that point, saying that, "Well, half your kids are dead, so why are you trying to lecture me about parenting?" But I kind of got what Nish was actually going on about there, in terms of like, can you give us a moment, please? I didn't think it was that unreasonable.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
No, not at all. It was very insensitive of Cindy to carry on and go over. And imagine, if it were the other way around, she'd lay into someone for doing that.
Oh, yeah. Well, she does. She goes mad when Nish does that. And it's kind of like, she's blessed Cindy. She's such a hypocrite.
But, Rob, I had my little theory last week about Cindy and Nish that's just completely in my head.
What was that?
That Cindy were going to be an alcoholic, which I now don't think. But something between her and Nish was going to go on, right? So when Nish blew up at her and she retaliated and were talking back, did you not notice that Nish were like admiring her while she was giving it back at him?
Well, I think that Nish likes a woman with fire, because otherwise he wouldn't be with Suki. And I think Nish is the sort that can probably envisage a time in another world where him and Cindy would go quite well together, because Nish is that level of arrogant that he kind of thinks that all women really would fall at his feet and be lucky to be with him. So I can sort of he likes a woman who can kind of give him a fight. So yeah, probably.
I think he enjoyed it when she was giving it back at him. I'm telling you, you've got your little Stacey and Jack theory. I'm more Cindy and Nish, but Cindy won't. Cindy might use him for advantage.
I think that's more likely. I think that's more likely. Yeah, because by the end of this week, we'll get to what happens. But by the end of this week, they're kind of still left high and dry without any money. So I wonder if they may try and turn back to the Panesars. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
True.
Because so Cindy ends up ripping the contract up and goes, screw you, and they're left with no other options. So first she tries going to Phil, and Phil very quickly works out that there's no way that he could trust Cindy with his money. So meanwhile, George has discovered that the bar has been sold. And Anna feels a bit guilty because Cindy rightfully kind of owns half of it. So she tells Cindy, by the way, Dad sold the bar. To Cindy's eyes, you see the pound signs appearing in her eyes at that moment. So she goes to George and says, so about that money, the money you're getting for the bar, I'll be having half of that, thanks. Now, is she within her rights to demand this, do you think?
No, if I was George, I would give her half of what it was valued at the year that she walked out. And even that's being generous, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because she's not worked, she's not been there for the past 9 years. She's not, she's not done anything for it. And legally, though, he did say that the marriage got dissolved. So, no, I think a little bit would be fair. A little bit, maybe 10, 20%.
If that, perhaps. Yeah, if that. Yeah, I agree.
Other than that, no, because you've not been a part of that business for the past 9 years. You've had nothing to do with it. But
yeah. This is kind of what makes you wonder about what George's motivations actually are when it comes to Cindy, doesn't it? Because for a start, Elaine is kind of ready to go, screw off, you ain't having a penny. But George is like, hang on, let's just hear them out. Okay, let's invite them around for dinner in a great scene. I really enjoyed the awkward dinner. That was such fun. Elaine, I loved Elaine this week. She's so funny. Just like the constant. I am loving Cindy versus Elaine. I think as this storyline goes on, I really hope they build this rivalry between Cindy and Elaine because it's very funny. I'm a big fan of it. So they had this dinner, and Cindy basically spends the evening sort of overcompensating for everything with her relationship with Ian, saying how Ian waits on her hand and foot. I don't think he does. And
satisfies my every need.
Her every desire. Again, I doubt it. So once her and George have a moment alone, she is convinced that George is still in love with her. Do you think George is still in love with her? Do you think that those feelings are as there as Cindy thinks they are?
I'll be honest with you, I got very confused this week. I got very confused. Yeah. But we'll obviously get to that a bit more as we're talking about it. But I believed I'm confused. Yes. I'm confused.
We'll get to
it
now.
Like you say, his motivation. Like his motivations, like you say.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they have that moment, didn't they, on the landing. But then all the way through I'm thinking he just said to Elaine, keep your enemies closer. And then when he offered the 50%, I actually didn't think he were being real. I thought that were part of the test.
Okay.
And then when it transpired that he were actually being serious about 50%.
Yeah.
I was like, why would you give her 50%? I don't understand why you were willing to do that, if I'm honest with you. I didn't understand that at all.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying because he does agree. He says, right now you can have 50%, much to Elaine's horror. And Ian's all very smug about it. So they get home, Ian and Cindy goes, oh, wait, I forgot my phone, in the most unconvincing lie that she's ever told Ian.
Yeah.
Like, she needs to work on her lying because even Ian worked that one out. Because all he has to do is kind of just look in her bag. Oh, your phone's there, so clearly you've just gone to see George. She goes across and kind of gives George a bit of eye fluttering and saying like how the feelings are all still there, moves in for the kiss. At that moment, Gina walks in and sees what's going on and then quickly leaves again. So Gina's seen them kissing. And then George kind of just pushes her away going, knew it, thank you, point proven, you still are madly in love with me, you're still lying to yourself, you're lying to your husband, and you're absolute trash, get out. Which, confusing though, I know what you mean, like what are his motivations?
Also, he were holding her hands too aggressively, I'm telling you, there's something in the way that he's always quite...
Okay. How
would you feel if you saw a man or my partner doing that to me?
Yeah, but it was a different situation though, wasn't it? Like he was pulling. I don't know.
I understand I get it. There's context, and I get it. But to me, it's too much. And I'm not saying that he'll ever fit, but there's some kind of element of control there, in my opinion. But then again, I know what Cindy's like. So I can't imagine her being
yeah,
situation.
Exactly. And it's like, how do you like kind of maintain any level of control over someone like Cindy? And there is also, I think, the element that George is just a big old boxer man. So anything he does looks quite forceful.
True,
do you know what I mean?
Overbearing.
Yeah. But so he does that. So the next day, Cindy's sort of resolute and is sort of like wants to go and wants to go to the Vic and sort of really wants to kind of rub it in George's face. Did you not think? Like she's trying to just be that woman.
Yeah, well, it's Cindy though, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's Cindy all over. But I still, still even after, when he says, "Oh, we're a test," I knew it. Blah blah blah. That's when I thought he were going to go. And I was lying. You're not getting your 50%. I was just saying it to prove that this is what you do.
Yeah, he's still sticking with the 50%
say that.
Thing.
He was still sticking with it, and I don't understand why he'd give her 50%. I don't get that at all. Elaine were annoyed because I thought he'd discussed it with Elaine. She was going to play bad cop at this dinner party. You were playing good cop. And he'd said to her, I'm going to tell him that I'm getting a 50%, but obviously I'm not going to. The next day, she was like, are you mad? Why are you giving a 50%? I was so confused. I was like, why are you giving a 50%?
Well, what I think might have been going on here, because Gina, again, one of these moments where the secret isn't kept for long, like she literally reveals it to everybody the next episode, what she's seen. When that's revealed, the two couples kind of go their separate ways. Elaine storms off upstairs. Did you notice Elaine's choice of stiff drink? I quite approved of this.
Baileys.
Baileys or Irish cream or something, wasn't it? I like that. It's a classy alternative to someone like Shirley downing vodka from the bottle or Sharon having a glass of room temperature white out of the cupboard. It's a nice alternative.
I'll have a soft creamy liqueur, actually. That's what this moment calls
just to steady my nerve.
Oh, lovely. Can't go wrong with a bit of Baileys. Oh, Christmas. Sorry, go on.
I know, and they can do all sorts of nice Christmas Baileys flavours this time of year. I'm very excited. But at this moment, George sort of explains himself a little bit, and it sounds like he is basically trying to humiliate Cindy because of what she did to him. So maybe he was trying to sort of lead her at the path and make her think that he was completely and utterly on her side, so that to see how she would react to that is kind of the impression that I got from it.
But that's what I thought. But then why did he not say to Elaine, "I we're never going to give her 50%"?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't.
I don't know.
Something doesn't add up with it. And anyway, yeah, something doesn't add up for me.
What for George? As with George, you mean? You think there's something? You think there's something darker going on with George? Really, that's your main theory. I do.
It? Yeah. Yes and no, but I see a little.
There's a possibility, right? Let's put this out there.
Not majorly.
No. But there is a thing with this. It's the fact that, as we know, there's a man on the floor on Christmas Day. There's no reason why that couldn't be George. And they are slowly maybe drip feeding a little bit of a darker side to George as the months go on. That's a possibility. So maybe what you're seeing, and I'm blind to it completely because I'm an idiot. Maybe what you're seeing is actually you're picking up on the little subtle clues that they're giving for George being on the floor Christmas Day.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I were going to say, Rob, really.
Was it? Yeah. Tip on your tongue, was it, that?
Yeah. But I've said this for a while. There's just something I don't quite trust about George, but I could be totally wrong. I don't think that I am. I don't. When he said that as well to Elaine, I just wanted to humiliate her, I thought if my partner was saying that to me about his ex, I'd be a bit worried about myself, thinking, why would you want to do that? Like, be the bigger person. I get it, but I don't know.
But to be fair, I think Elaine would approve of that because she's all up for humiliating Cindy.
True. That is true.
So I think actually, if he was going to manipulate anybody, that would be quite a good thing to say to Elaine, because he'd know that. I mean, Elaine couldn't care less whether Cindy lived or died, you know. So I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to say to Elaine. I don't know. But Elaine basically says, right, well, you can forget about giving her any money. If you want to prove to me that you have no feelings for this woman whatsoever, we ain't giving her a penny. And I can't believe that Cindy had the nerve to look surprised by this outcome. It's like she looked absolutely stunned and outraged that they weren't going to get any money out of George. Well, what did she expect?
It's Cindy, isn't it, though? I think she just got it in her head that she gets what she wants as well, and she thought that she'd got what she wanted, didn't she? Something's not adding up. Sorry, I can't really... I can't put my finger on it, but something doesn't add up with it all.
I don't think there's a dark side to George, I'll be honest with you. I think he's just who he is, but it's a possibility, I suppose, and any man has to be a suspect for Christmas Day, so you never know. you never know. But basically, by the end of the week, war has been declared between the Beals and the Knights. Where this is going to go, God only knows. So where are they going to go?
Called Malice. I love that in the background.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Where are they going to go for the money for this now, do you think?
I don't know. Well, Ian straight away when George first said that we were going to give 50% we want it in writing. And then when he went back to tell Bobby and Peter, he was like, well, it's a verbal agreement, so he can't go back on it. So is Ian going to somehow... Is he going to somehow try and... You can't,
I don't think a verbal agreement stands up in court. Otherwise, people would be getting sued left, right and centre, wouldn't they?
Maybe they're just going to hire a solicitor and try and actually get some money out of it.
Yeah, I wonder how much right Cindy actually has legally in this situation because she walked out on them. So in theory, you'd argue that she has no rights whatsoever because she just left and completely disappeared off the face of the planet. So I wouldn't have thought she had.
Yeah, but she's got legal proof that she went into witness protection and why she did. So who knows?
True. That's plus a good point.
It'd be Spanish laws as well, so I don't know how any of it works.
God knows how it goes on in Spain.
yeah, no, England law, yeah, straight away. No, that
Spanish law, who knows?
Well, no, in fairness, if their marriage got dissolved, I don't know if they owned it as a partnership in that respect, then maybe she ain't entitled to anything, but who knows?
On to the Panesars now, and they have discovered that Nugget is missing. Now, we have a theory about where Nugget might actually have gone, bearing in mind who was announced as arriving in the coming weeks. Nugget's mum is arriving, so we reckon that that's where Nugget actually is. And Suki receives a phone call this week from Nugget to kind of just tell her, I'm okay, but don't tell anyone that I've called you. If you breathe a word to anybody, I'll never speak to you again. Which, you know, it's kind of put Suki in a semi-difficult situation, don't you think?
It has, yeah, but actually, I think that she should have just told the police if she actually wants him to be found.
Yeah, I did wonder that. The problem with that is that the police are under no obligation not to tell Ravi, well, we're not going to look anymore because she's had Suki as that. Do you know what I mean? That would kind of put Suki in an even more tricky situation with Ravi. So I think that's why she hasn't said anything to him.
Yeah, I get that, but a teenager saying that they're safe doesn't necessarily mean that they're safe. So they could maybe have tracked down where that phone call's come from to a phone. I don't know. I mean, she went straight to Denise, didn't she, on Square and said, I've had this call. And Denise was very eager to say, don't tell anyone. Now, do you think Jack would have agreed with that? If you actually want to get Nugget found safely and make sure he is safe.
Yeah, it's tricky,
I think Jack would have said, what are you doing? Telling me to not... I get that you don't like Ravi, but if you actually want Nugget back, then be honest about the fact that you've had a call.
Yeah.
And I think Nish is going to figure it out that she's had a call. Because he says, sorry, I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
No, go.
He mentions it later in the week to Ravi, doesn't he, in the pub and says, you know, I'm sure at some point he'll ring me or Suki because he trusts us and he'll let us know he's okay. And then enter Suki stood in the background. So I thought, I think Nish is going to figure it out and figure out that she's been lying about it.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think it does put Suki in an interesting position because it's like, and I think she also wants to sort of keep like Nugget, because at the moment Nugget isn't telling her actually where he is. All he's saying is I'm fine, which, like you say, doesn't actually mean anything. So I think maybe Suki wants to kind of keep that contact going so that maybe she can find out where Nugget is, and then sort of make her next move from there, maybe.
Yeah, but it just don't make sense to not tell people though, because Nugget's not going to know if she's told. Even if she just told Ravi and Nish and didn't tell the police, Nugget's not going to know because they're not going to be able to find him from him knowing that he's rang. It'll just give them a bit of relief to know that he's not currently dead in a ditch.
Yeah.
So yeah. Bit out of line.
Okay. I'm intrigued to sort of see where she goes with this from here. Ravi obviously is at his wit's end. The way we tell that is because Ravi had stressed hair all week. It was like somebody had gone at him with a balloon. Just like it was all stuck up on end.
It was like, we'll do your hair and then we'll mess it up after.
Stick it all up just to show you're stressed. He did look stressed, didn't he? It worked. Like it
worked, yeah.
I didn't think you could make somebody with a bun look stressed, but it turns out you can. He looked like absolutely at the end of his tether. And he's putting posters up all over the place, threatening Denise, threatening Suki, getting all angry and everything. You know, he blames Denise mainly for this, and he blames Suki as well. So he's kind of just again, completely absconding himself of any responsibility at all until Denzel has a go at him. I thought that scene was electric. Did you? Like, I thought that was a really, really good scene.
Yeah, definitely. Denzel really gave it to him, didn't he?
He
got
just
very angry.
Yeah, with both barrels.
I weren't expecting it actually, but I think once Ravi were just constantly trying to shove money at him, he was like, "Mate, it's your fault."
I mean, he literally kind of tried to bribe Denzel with new trainers for information on his best mate, because I think he thought that Denzel would know where Nugget is. And to be fair, the only information that Nugget gave Denzel before he disappeared was, "I'm annoyed with my dad, and my dad has wrecked things again." So that's all Denzel had to go on. So he's like, "Well, it's your fault. So don't leave me out of it, mate."
He got a bit riled up as well, didn't he? Because Denzel were blaming himself, and then it was Denise who said there's only one person to blame, and Denzel was like, actually, she's right, because that's the only person that he were moaning to me about as well. So yeah, I think he took his anger out on him, didn't he? And rightfully so.
It's and then he's kind of his only kind of way of dealing with this is to kind of have a go at Suki and say, look, and Denise, and say, if anything happens to Nugget, your lives will not be worth living. And I think Suki's kind of at the stage where she's like, what are you going to do? Like, I'm just going to tell Nish what you're doing with Kira. Although the only problem with that is I don't think Nish will be that bothered about Kira.
No, he won't, but I don't know if Suki knows that he won't be that bothered.
Yes, she doesn't know that. So and as to Denise, go on.
Sorry, when he was saying that to Denise, I'm probably overanalyzing this, Rob, as I'm sure you're about to tell me.
Not at all, Ree.
But Ravi's choice of words, he said, "I'll burn and destroy everything."
No, fully, I did notice that. Yeah. So you're referring to a certain little fire that might be happening soon. You think Ravi might be responsible for that?
That fire, I don't. But there's a fire in the background at the Queen Vic on Christmas Day.
Oh,
so that was actually what came to mind when he said that line for me, and I just thought it was a very random thing to say, burn and destroy. So yeah,
I know, interesting. There was another little clue this week, by the way, that I saw. Was that when Cindy and Ian came and asked for champagne in the Vic, they had a bottle placed in front of Ian, and it was exactly the same bottle that Denise is holding on Christmas Day.
Shut the front door.
Well, it had the same. It had the same. Yeah. Did I? As if I did. I saw it online.
Oh right.
Honestly, I don't know how people are still spotting these clues this late on. My brain is frazzled already without everybody seeing like what people are wearing for 10 months, spotting all these little tiny clues. I don't know how people's brains aren't turned inside out at this point. Well, they probably are. I've just like it's ridiculous. I can't.
I had a dream that Fat Boy was to do it. I had a dream about Fat Boy in a wig last night.
That's what this storyline has done to us.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Not even joking. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely mad. How do you... Suki's response to all this is basically to say to Ravi, right, now you know what it's like. Now you know what it's like to be worried about your kid, yeah? Which I think is a fair response, considering what Ravi did to Kira, but where the hell does this go from here? Like, what is Ravi's next move? Because that's a man on the edge.
She's playing with fire quite literally.
Isn't she just? Yeah, she really is.
She appears confident with it, but then later on when Nish and Ravi are in the pub, Nish goes over to Suki, doesn't he, and says it's about time you start treating him like one of your own. So he's obviously picking up on it, Nish there. He's picking up on something because he can... It's not hard to notice the tension, is it? And obviously, they had the argument about when she was talking to the police officer outside, PC Nash, about whether what was she doing there, by the way? She was like hinting at Ravi being quite violent to him.
Yeah, she was planting seeds with the police that Ravi might be responsible, which again, dangerous move. I mean, we know Suki's not afraid of getting her hands dirty with this sort of thing. All right, Suki ain't no wallflower when it comes to putting herself in the firing line. But that is a dangerous move, I think.
Yeah, and also I think at this stage she's quite confident that Nish should have her back, but I'm not sure that he would over Ravi at this point.
No, like massively reading that wrong, I think. Yeah, Nish is because I don't even know why she would think that, because Nish has made it quite clear that what they've discovered about Ravi is of no consequence whatsoever. Like he's told us to sort of just leave that alone. So again, I don't get Nish is so stupid that he thinks that Suki would do that. Considering that she thought that she'd killed this bloke for the good part of a year. I don't know how you think that Suki would just forget about that and let Ravi go off scot-free. It's madness. I don't get how he would think that at all. So it's the men of the Panesar family have a lot of lessons coming their way, I think, including Vinny. So
it's all getting very complicated, isn't it? Very
isn't it
complicated.
Yeah, it's getting very complex and layered. And as we get further and further to Christmas, I do have to say, at this point, I fail to see how the Christmas Day death isn't Panesar related in some way, because there is a lot of Panesar stuff going on at the moment, and it's going to be tricky to unravel all that, I think, to allow somebody else to sort of come in through the back door. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the Panesar stuff is overarching quite a lot of it at this stage. So this is why I think it's niche. I still think it's niche.
I don't think it is niche anymore. I think it's too obvious to be niche.
But maybe it's a double bluff.
Oh, stop it. We've been told expect the unexpected.
Yes.
Well, I'll say another theory that I've seen knocking about when we get to it. I'm not going to say it now.
Oh, okay. Suspense. Right then, next story. On to Sonia and Reese now. And I am intrigued by exactly how much money Debbie actually has. Because Sonia and Reese have their first IVF appointment this week, and it is advised to them that they have an ICSI, where an embryologist will, and I am reading this, an embryologist will take the strongest sperm and manually fertilize the egg. And each time that they do this will raise the chances, but to no higher than 40% because of Sonia's age. And each time they try this, it's going to cost them £15,000. That is a hell of a lot of money.
But I thought it was £5,000 each time. No,
15,000. 15,000 each time.
Oh, I missed that bit then. Oh, right. I wrote 5,000.
No,
I thought it was five.
Each attempt will cost 15 grand, I think they said.
Oh, I thought they said 5,000, but it usually takes about 3 attempts for it to be successful.
Oh. Well, either way, how much money has Debbie got?
Anyway, it's going to be a lot of money.
The point is, there's going to be a lot of money, and how much money has Debbie got? I think it's the main point.
She's got 24 to 25 grand, I remember, when you checked her bank account. So it's affordable, and some, if he's going to steal it all from her.
Bit of change.
Yeah.
I still am very confused as to where this Debbie story is going, because when she was first introduced, I swear to God, they made out that she was just never going to wake up, and at the moment it was just a case of making her comfortable until she sadly passed away. I thought that was where we were at with it. But they keep kind of referring to her, they keep showing her, Reese keeps talking to her, and sort of, like, this week he went to actually see her and apologise for what he's doing and said, I'll pay you back, honest, which, good luck with that, Reese. So it kind of makes me wonder, is Debbie going to wake up at some point? Is that where this is going?
She's Blake's going to wake up. And she's going to wake up and she's going to have heard everything.
Everything.
Sonia and Reese have said she's going to remember it all.
Will turn out to be a psychopath. She will be Wolford's next Freddy Krueger, and she will go on the rampage.
And oh my God, I'm just going to go for it, Rob. You love my out there theories. Can I tell them the one that I've told you? You don't. You know what about, don't you?
Which one?
Right. So, about Debbie's eggs.
Yeah.
Right.
Go on, then. Tell them this. Yeah.
What if Debbie's eggs were frozen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sonia and Reese are going to struggle with Sonia's eggs.
Yes.
So then they end up using Debbie's frozen eggs. I don't know how they'll agree on it or how they'll get to that stage. But what if they do? So then Sonia is kind of the surrogate for Debbie's egg baby. And then, sorry, that's such bad grammar. Anyway, what if she has Debbie's eggs, an embryo implanted in her, and then they plan to bring up this baby, and then Debbie wakes up from the coma?
Okay. My first question to all of that is that even possible?
Yeah.
That's possible.
Well, actually, I don't know legally if Debbie didn't consent to it, actually.
Which she ain't gonna which she ain't gonna do when she's in a coma, is she?
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that actually.
Not that I'm
consent might be an issue.
Yeah, not that I'm not, treading all over your theories, Ree. I'm just offering you, just questioning slight elements to it. You know, possibly. However, I think what's more likely is that Debbie is eventually. I think at some point Debbie's apparently going to wake up. So clearly, I've just misinterpreted what the situation with Debbie actually is, and Debbie's going to wake up, and then that's when the problems are really going to start. Because, like you say, they say that you can hear people when you're in Debbie's situation. And Reese seems to have basically given an entire monologue to Debbie whenever he sees her and tell her everything that's going on, and Sonia will have done the same. So how successful do you think we're going to get to a stage where Sonia becomes pregnant? Do you reckon this is actually going to work?
Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. Now you're saying it, I'm not I think it'll take a few attempts, you know, money-wise. So we might see that.
Oh, yeah, that's got to build up for sure. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. And then maybe, I don't know. Yeah, possibly.
Well, I think what's going to happen
is... Sonia is having a baby?
Well, possibly. I mean, the thing is, I think that it's going to get to a stage where Reese is struggling to get the money together. I think for a start, I think it's going to get to a stage where Debbie runs out of money, and then Reese will have to reveal like what's going on. I think maybe, I don't know. It's just an odd. I don't get where this is going at all, which I love. I like not knowing where a story's going. It makes it exciting. I just don't know. I have no idea where the hell this story can go. Do you know what I mean? Like, does Debbie wake up?
Can I be honest?
Yes, Ree.
I'm a bit bored of it at a minute. It's a bit
boring. The IVF story?
It's not great. Yeah, not to say that it's not a good story to tackle, but as it is at the moment, I'm just a bit, all right, come on, get on with it. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just not.
You're ready for the next stage of it to kind of go on, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready for that, but because I think the thing is they haven't actually shown a huge amount of this story recently. Like, we sort of it's not been the main story of the week at any point, really, has it? So I think we're waiting for that week where this is really the focus of the entire week, and Reese's secrets kind of are unearthed. That's the natural next stage of where this story is going to go. So I think we're sort of just waiting for that moment to happen. Because Reese is, I'm still fascinated by Reese as a character, and I still don't believe that he's going to turn out to be any sort of villain. I think that he is really struggling internally with doing this, and I just find him really interesting.
Actually, I'm kind of seeing people's perspective a little bit more now.
Of course you are. Okay, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, I just want to argue with Rob. That's the only reason why. No, I'm seeing it more because there's more and more thought now behind it. He's got. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could argue earlier on that
it's becoming easier. It's becoming easier for him to do.
It's going to cost this much. I'll just take that little bit out. You know, I'm not going to. Yeah. I'm not going to take Mick with it. I'll just take a little bit out. But now it's like he's promising it all, and it's like there's too much thought now going into stealing that money. Before, it was like, I'm desperate, I really want this, and now you're like, sod it, YOLO. You know, let's do it. Let's just take a lot. Who cares? She's in a coma. Now I can kind of see why people are like.
I don't know if he's at the stage where he's thinking, "Who cares?" To be honest with you, I think he does feel guilty about doing it, but I think that he's finding it easier to do it if we're gonna go if we're gonna go into any level with it. I think, but I think when it ultimately comes out, I think he's going to realize what he's done and he's going to feel dreadful about it. I really do. Yeah. But I don't know, because Sonia, when she finds out what's gone on, will make him feel about an inch tall. You know, she will.
That'll be. I mean, do you think she'll find out once she's pregnant and then be in a dilemma of what to do?
That would be the soapy way of doing it, wouldn't it? Because I think realistically, Sonia would dump his ass if she's not pregnant, and then maybe she will not realize she's pregnant, dump him, and then realize she's pregnant, and then sort of be stuck with that quandary that she's basically had a baby that's been grown from stolen money, essentially. Brief little story at the start of the week was with Tommy, Kat, Phil, and Alfie. Now, we discovered this week that Alfie's got the all clear. Do we believe this? Is he like officially done now, do you think, with this storyline?
Supposedly. I don't know. Why would he tell Phil that when Phil already knows what's going on? But again, did we see a doctor say it?
No, we didn't. I don't know. There's something odd about this. Like, it kind of makes you wonder, right? They're not going to do surely like a full-on cancer treatment storyline after we've not long said goodbye to Lola. So,
I don't know. Something felt quite incomplete this week with the storyline, didn't it? Like, we had that one little thing, and then it's not been mentioned again. I don't know where they're headed with it at all. Maybe that's why they don't want us to know. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe because Alfie kind of suggested that he was going to go off somewhere, like go on holiday to sort of heal himself or something. Which again seems a little bit un-Alfie like, I thought, because it almost sounded almost spiritual, him coming out with that. I just need to go and find myself in Spain. I need to go sit and meditate under a waterfall and be healed and all that kind of thing. So I just wonder whether he is actually keeping what is actually going on from everybody, because Phil is still in the same situation with Kat as he was before, that he is keeping all of this from Kat, which I do believe is probably going to be the ultimate way that Kat and Phil end up breaking up, possibly, but we'll see how that plays out. The one person that is getting really badly affected with this is Tommy. He had a boxing match this week, and Alfie let him down. Alfie was supposed to be there, and Phil and Kat are sort of left picking up the pieces. Now then, Tommy's temper, that's going to be a thing moving forward, isn't it?
It's looking like it, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be a bit of an aggressive.
Yes, teach him how to box better, that'll help.
A genius idea. Who the hell does... Phil's an idiot. Like, you have a violent child. I know, let's teach him how to fight better.
It is a common thing, because they say let him take the frustrations out, don't they, in boxing ring, but I don't think it's working for Tommy at a minute.
No, not really. But I just don't get why you would teach someone to punch better if they're already violent. I think that's a crazy idea myself. But what do I know? I haven't got kids. But yeah, I think moving forward, Tommy's temper is going to be a real problem going forward, especially for Kat. I think because we're stepping into a bit darker territory with young Tommy now, I think. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, it was all very much at the start of the week. It's interesting to sort of give Phil this sort of storyline, because obviously, you know, Phil and Grant would have got their own history with all this sort of thing. So I wonder how Phil is going to deal with a child like this, because obviously Ben has grown up as a result of Phil's parenting, and but I feel like Tommy is kind of sort of be on very much his own path with this. So I'm really intrigued to sort of see how Phil deals with this. I don't think he'll be that honest with Kat throughout the entire process, which again is going to cause their marriage problems. And Kat's going to be left in the dark for quite a lot of it, but yeah, it's interesting.
I wonder if that's why. I don't know. I can't figure it out with Tommy either. Nature v nature, isn't it? Is it just part of him? That's just how he is.
I mean, it's interesting as well, because Phil and Alfie could not be more different parents, really, could they? You know, it's hard to imagine a violent child coming out of a relationship between Kat and Alfie, but with Phil on the line, anything's possible. So yeah, I think it's I'm intrigued to see where this goes. So on to the final story of the week now, and Stacey's Baps are out. On to the final storyline now, and I think it's safe to say Theo Hawthorne is a loon, isn't he? Like, he really, really pushes it this week. So he has started pretending to be Stacey online. He has sent pictures of Stacey in her underwear to Billy. He has sent abusive messages to Bernie. He then sends Stacey a friend request from Bradley, and also sends Eve a friend request from her dead sister. The man is insane. Like, what the hell is his brain doing?
Surely he's leaving some kind of, computer trail, saying computer, IP, track down the IP addresses of all this and get some more evidence or something.
Normal police services can, whether Walford Police can remains to be seen. I am sort of still wondering, like, is he getting to a stage now where Walford Police have to do something or not? I mean, by the end of the week, maybe they will do. Because Stacey decides to get all the parents, basically get the communities together. And a really nice scene of where Stacey is basically telling everybody what exactly has been going on. And is basically persuading the parents of Walford to be with her in getting Theo sacked from the school, because he's teaching their children, and that is dangerous because he's a nutter. And I really, really like that scene of Lacey Turner being I thought she was brilliant. Just giving this amazing performance of Stacey having to confess and kind of tell everybody what she's had to do to put money on her table, and the resulting stalker that she has got from that. I think she was quite embarrassed by it and scared to do it, but I think everyone was really supportive of her, wasn't they?
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised that she told everyone, actually, but
it was brave.
I'm glad that she didn't have somebody stand up and walk out, because you remember when it first came out?
Yeah,
and
that snobby
parent meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she managed to explain. I mean, to be fair, they live in London. They're probably like, yeah, how many kids have you got in that house? I'm not surprised you need to do that, to be honest, because London's bloody expensive.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Did...
I really, really like that scene. It's also revealed this week that Bernie's got a crush on Stacey, which
Oh yeah. Well, she seems
fair.
to have a crush on a lot of women around Square, doesn't she, told Bernie?
There's a lot of gorgeous women around that square. Poor Bernie's hormones must be all over the place. I don't blame her, to be effectively.
Wait, she eyeing Emma up at one point?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think she was. I really want Bernie to have a girlfriend, just sort of settle her down. I really think she deserves a girlfriend. Give Bernie a girlfriend and give her own storyline, please. Because
yeah,
Bernie
give her a storyline.
Yeah, she really deserves it. So Theo's response to this, in a really, really, really effective duff at the end of the week. I loved that last scene. It was so creepy. Because you think someone's putting a poster up, and for a moment you think, oh, Ravi's putting up another Nugget picture because he was posting pictures of Nuggets for information. But no, it wasn't Ravi, and it wasn't Nugget on that picture. Stacey's Baps is written on the poster. And Stacey sat there in her underwear, and he has put up hundreds of these posters all over the square. Like, the square is festooned with all these posters just flapping in the breeze in the middle of the night. Really, really effective duff. I loved it.
Well, you've just said something that's made me go, oh, is that going to happen?
Oh dear,
you just said,
have I triggered a theory?
No, it's an all right one.
Oh, okay.
Well, you said that, we thought it might have been Ravi putting up the posters of Nugget.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to go raging at Theo? Because
Maybe.
he's going to realise that all his Nugget posters have been covered up by...
I couldn't
because he's
see
probably
any
covered them all up.
Yeah, I couldn't see any. I was looking for that when I was rewatching the episode. It's like, oh, actually, he's hidden all the Nugget pictures as well. So either he's taken them down or he's covered them up. So yeah, I 100% agree with you. Ravi's going to go ape when he finds that.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen now. You just said that, but also, why was there no one? Surely someone's out there like looking for Nugget. Like, is there anyone stood outside on Albert Square at that time of night who might see him do it?
Yeah, you sort of wonder what time of night he was doing that. I think because everything was closed, wasn't it? So I think it must have been at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning when he was doing that. Yeah. But it was just such an effective shot, like him just in his hoodie, just stalking his way through the square with all these posters flapping around him. I loved it. It was a really nice shot. Really interested to sort of see where this goes next week, because they've got the court case next week about him.
Yeah.
And this will not make a difference for everybody, to some people. But next week, we've got a double Simon Ashdown, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know that there's many great writers on the EastEnders writers team. They've really shown that over the past few months, past year. But I love me a Simon Ashdown script. I'm very, very excited. It's double Simon Ashdown, and he seems to be writing whatever is going on next week with this storyline next week, because he loves writing Stacey. Yeah, so it's going to be big for this story next week. I'm excited.
Well, I'm thinking when Martin went round earlier this week and would banging down Theo's door, I bet he's recorded it all.
Probably.
I bet he's recorded it all and going to go, no, actually they're the ones harassing me, and it's all he's going to flip the script.
You've got to kind of wonder what Theo's next move is from here, because he's obviously done this. He's obviously put these posters up all over the square, but he knows what's happening next week. So you kind of got to think that he's got to have some form of defense ready for himself. He's got to have something up his sleeve, surely.
This is what irritates me about it. Is Theo aware of what he's actually doing? We were saying he was delusional before.
Yeah.
At what point does he go, yeah, I know I'm doing something wrong and I need to cover it up? Or at what point is it that he's going, I'm just waiting for Stacey we just had a little argument. Yeah. Silly Stacey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is his brain actually doing? But then he does say to Stacey, you made a big mistake, getting the school on, getting them to launch the investigation. So maybe he's now just going to go, now I'm angry. Now I don't think there is anything between us. Now I'm just super angry at
her. It's I think he's definitely going to use Stacey's camera work as his defense. So it depends on what the jury or whatever it is kind of makes of that. I think it's going to be really good next week. I also sort of wonder after next week, where does this leave Theo? Because obviously Theo is one of the top suspects for the floor on Christmas Day. So you've kind of got to wonder how much longer can they stretch this story out for? Where else is there for this storyline to go?
Well, I said there's another suspect floating around.
Yes.
Right? Well, a few people I've seen online saying that they think it could be Martin at the hands of Theo on Christmas Day.
That would be mental.
And I saw a video. I've seen a video that someone's edited about the fire. A few years ago, Martin had a fire, set fire to some clothes on Christmas Day.
Yes.
Same music was in the background. Then we've got a fire. So I've seen quite a few people thinking that it could be Martin on Christmas Day because of Theo. So maybe it isn't Theo.
I'd be very
surprised.
I'd be very surprised. I don't think it is Martin on the floor. I don't think he's got any. I don't think he's got any reason to be on the floor. However, this is the sort of storyline where anything can happen. And effectively, every single man who lives on that square is a suspect for the floor, which is why it's so brilliant. You know, you could probably, if you were to look for it, you could probably find clues as to why Patrick would be on the floor on Christmas Day. You know, you could probably work out something to make every single man go on that floor on Christmas Day. It's fascinating. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So I can't wait for this next week. I think this is tricky this week. Gold Star.
Oh, do you know what? I'm giving it to Cindy because I've actually really enjoyed Cindy this week. I'm loving Cindy at the minute. So yeah, 100% to Cindy.
That's interesting because in the vein of their rivalry, I was actually going to give mine to Elaine this week. So yeah, that works. But it's tricky this week because there was a lot of really, really good moments from a lot of characters this week. I loved everything that was going on with Ravi. Loved Ravi this week. I thought he was really. I thought that there was probably some of the strongest Ravi material we've had for quite a while. Loved that moment with Denzel. So yeah, a lot of really strong performances this week. But yeah, so Cindy and Elaine for our gold stars this week. On to the last part of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and that is voices from you guys. So, on to comments from our delightful viewers and listeners. We'll start with an email from Mitch Hamer, who says, "Hi, Rob and Ree. I'm not thinking Rafi will be the body on Christmas Day, but I don't think the new characters rule him out. They could very much be being introduced in order to build a unit around Nugget for when Ravi is killed, so that there's more people/family for Nugget to interact with, not Ravi. I'm in the Dean Wicks camp, but there's all sorts going on, so who knows?" Yeah, see, Dean is still very much a suspect. And what I will say is that we were debating whether we were actually going to bring this up, but actually this might be relevant. It was that Chris Crenshaw has revealed this week, I think there's a little thing in the Daily Star, where he said that there are some more returning characters on the way. Now, it's difficult to imagine that one of them might not be Dean. I don't know, possibly. We don't know anything yet. But I think if it is Dean, he's going to have to arrive pretty quickly for him to feel like a legitimate suspect and for the floor, don't you think? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm waiting. I mean, wouldn't it be hilarious if Dean didn't come back after all this?
Or just turns up on Christmas Eve and then just gets knocked out and just dies.
Yeah.
I think if they're going to introduce suspects this late on, I think it's got to be handled carefully because otherwise it's going to feel like the past 9 months have been a bit of a waste.
If it is Dean, they've covered him up going into the studio very well, unless he's still not there or something.
100%, because the Christmas tree is now up. So they are filming December as we speak. This is always very exciting when the Christmas Day pictures, when the Christmas pictures of the square all sort of festooned with Christmas decorations come out. The Knights, by the way, I've decided to stick to soldiers outside the doors of the Vic. So that's a new addition. We've not had them before. So it's just these Toy Town soldiers just kind of standing between the door. It's very exciting. So yeah, Dean is a perfectly legitimate suspect, but if he is, it's going to have to be quick, I think, for it to feel satisfying. That's my thought on that. Next comment, Ree.
We've got one from our YouTube channel saying, from at Super Doctor Who Lock, saying, "I loved seeing Linda be there for Alfie, and I agree. I'd rather they just stay friends. I really can't see them being together romantically." So obviously, that was on last week's podcast where we were saying about, will there be something between Linda and Alfie? We've not seen Linda this week, have we at all?
No, she was off with, Elaine said at the start of the week that she'd taken Ollie to see Nancy, so Linda wasn't there this week. Because Alfie wasn't either, apart from, I think the first episode of the week. So, I don't know. I can sort of see Alfie and Linda getting together, but I also feel like now they've revealed that Alfie is still very much in love with Kat, as if we needed to be told that. But I feel like, and Linda knows that. She's like, he said it to Linda, so I don't think that Linda would get herself into that situation. I am intrigued to sort of wonder where Linda's love life will go in the future. Because at some point she's going to have to have a new partner. But I'm glad that they haven't just thrown her with someone automatically so soon after Mick died, in inverted commas. So yeah, it's interesting. And final comment from Mariam McSaveni, hope I said that right, on our Facebook. She said, what's going on with Denise going on holiday? Is this so that something can happen with Jack? Also, what's happened to Albert Square's legendary CCTV? It's not picked up a guy putting up loads of signs all over the square of his amazing hood disguise. I mean, you might have a point with the CCTV, but honestly, CCTV must be the bane of the EastEnders writers' lives, because automatically every viewer is like, "Where's the CCTV?" Then go on, then where's that? So it's you never know. The CCTV might be there, and Thea might be like, "Yeah, that was me," but she upset me. So but I did wonder this about Stacey and Jack, and why they sending Denise off on holiday. Yes, sending Denise off on holiday for a week. So while the cat's away, you never know.
Well, we did have a little Stacey and Jack scene this week, but I didn't pick up on anything in that one. But then I don't think it would have been appropriate for there to be a spark anyway. But yeah, who knows? Why are they sending Denise away?
It is a random thing to send Denise away at this point, I thought. So unless Denise has a very heavy few months coming up, so they're just giving Diane Parrish a little bit of a break before she starts getting into quite intense filming. Who knows?
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Instagram and Twitter at E20 After Dark. You can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Albert Square After Dark, and you can find us on all your favourite podcast sites. You can email us at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com, and if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much for watching and for listening. Next week, I think the Stacey and Theo storyline is going to reach new levels. Very, very exciting. Cannot wait. This show keeps getting better and better every week, doesn't it? Keeps earning those awards. By the way, we didn't mention, it absolutely swept it at the Inside Soap Awards. Best Soap. Max Bowden won Best Soap Superstar. Danielle Harold won another award for Best Actress. Lola's storyline won Best Storyline, I think. It just absolutely swept the board with awards. And that is where the show is at right now. And this is why it is so good and so satisfying to do a podcast for it. We love it. We should be back same time next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you next week. See ya.
Bye.